As much as it's a truth universally acknowledged that a wrestling fan is never happier than when he's furious about wrestling, even the curmudgeonliest of curmudgeons would have to admit that Vince's Thump and Bump company have turned out some pretty snazzy grappling over the last 12 months. And frankly, it would be insane if they didn't, considering they have on their roster some of the best wrestlers currently breathing. But who turned in the best performances of the year? Cast your mind back, children. Honorable mention, Seth Rollins. Okay, he was number 11. Alright, do not burn me. It's just his whole babyface persona is currently very bad. Sparkle Crotch is hurting him, despite being one of the best in-ring performers in the world right now. Look, it's a tight list. Get off my back! I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are the 10 best WWE wrestlers of 2016. Number 10. John Cena, the face that runs the place, the legend that must be mentioned, the bozo that owns the dojo, the winner that cooks the dinner, the doctor that's gonna rock you, the dude that rules with chew, the Massachusetts that comes up with the solution. That's probably too many. The champion that don't do no tampering, the beast that pays the least, the big guy that cleans the pigsty. Okay, sorry, I'm going to. The bloke that tells the jokes. No, I'm done. John Cena has been one of the best wrestlers on the planet for the past 2 years, and he hasn't had one bad pay-per-view match this year. However, the fact he's only wrestled 4 of them this year has had to dock him a few points. It's a strict list. I'm a strict man. Number 9, Chris Jericho. If this was a list of the funniest wrestlers of the year, it's hard to imagine anyone other than the skeezy moustache dad taking it. Now, from an in-ring perspective, Jericho has definitely slowed down a lot in the last few years. He's still absolutely incredible for a man who's 46, but noticeably sluggish when compared to the new generation. However, Chris Jericho is, no exaggeration, one of the savviest wrestling minds of all time, and has compensated for this slowdown by ramping up his character work. Being a great wrestler isn't just doing moves, it's the full package of doing everything you can to keep the audience engaged, and from the facial hair, to the scarves, to the stupid idiots, it's Gifts of Jericho, quiets to the list. Jericho is more relevant now than ever, so much so that he doesn't have to work as hard in-ring to make his mark as one of the best wrestlers of 2016. Number 8, Kevin Owens. Agreed, that seems awfully low for the longest reigning Universal hamster of all time, but while Kevin Owens has been putting on stellar matches all year, there's been something slightly off about him. Now, that's a very subjective thing. Again, it's my list, suck my dick, but for someone who's been Intercontinental Champ and World Champ in the same year, he's always seemed like he was missing something. For example, for the majority of his reign, the list of Jericho has been more over than his championship, which is baffling. Still, despite never quite feeling like he's got the full support of the company behind him, he remains an utterly fantastic wrestler, probably the best talker in the entire WWE, and in terms of in-ring psychology, the man is near peerless. Also, that match with Zayn at Battleground was the absolute tits. Number 7, The Revival. The duo of Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson like to call themselves the absolute best tag team on this planet, and it's hard to disagree. I mean, I do later in this very list, but such is my right as a contrary internet dickhead. Dawson and Wilder, despite initially seeming blander than a Vladimir Kozlov sandwich on plain bread, have proved themselves as the masters of tag team fundamentals, and despite living down in developmental, have been setting a shining example to every partnership in the company, if not the world. The Revival versus Enzo and Cass was very special at Roadblock. The 2 Revival versus American Alpha matches at TakeOver Dallas in the end were even better, and the most recent matches with #DIY have been even better than that. While it's still hard to imagine either man working as well outside of their partnership, or whether their subtly brilliant gimmick will get over with the main roster, the point is, right now NXT Tag Wrestling is on fire, and the Revival are at the forefront of that movement. Number 6, The Miz. When you talk about there being more to a wrestler than a crowd-popping moveset, absolutely no one exemplified that more this year than The Miz. I mean, hot damn, since the brand split, he's been near untouchable as the top male heel, not just in WWE, but perhaps in wrestling right now, utilizing every single tool at his disposal to remain an entertaining dick. He's got one of the best managers going in Maurice. He's got his smarmy persona down to a T, which I appreciate. The dude gave Dean Ambrose a participation award on SmackDown. He's the goddamn best. And when Vince and co talk about grabbing the brass ring, maximizing your minutes, forcing people to notice you, you could argue that Miz did that better than anyone this year with his astonishingly good promos with Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. Hard as it was to see this coming, The Miz is one of the best in the business right now. Number 5, Sami Zayn. The best seller in WWE right now, I said it. Sami Zayn has been tipped to take Daniel Bryan's crown of ultimate likable underdog for so long now that it seems a cliche to say it, but all the facts are there. He's an indie darling with a kind, relatable persona and a faultless wrestling intellect. It's not the moves that make Sami Zayn great, although he's got moves for days. It's the in-ring storytelling and the psychology that makes the underdog from the underground so great. He's got the best determined face in wrestling, and there's something about his jelly leg selling that just rips sympathy out of you. His feud with Kevin Owens has become one of the best of the year, and even his program with Strowman is fascinating just because no one wrestles a David and Goliath match as well as Zayn. Good man, good hat, phenomenal wrestler. Number 4, Shinsuke Nakamura. Yep, 4. Shinsuke Nakamura had one of the best debut runs of any WWE wrestler ever, his first match against Sami Zayn being one of the best of the year, followed by stellar encounters against Austin Aries and Finn Balor, before winning the belt from Samoa Joe at TakeOver Brooklyn 2. Also, he's one of the most charismatic wrestlers of all time. He's what happens when a Michael Jackson costume gains sentience and becomes a porn star, and he's been putting on fantastic matches all year. Frankly, there's no way he wasn't going to be in the top 5, but the thing is, him being the headline act in NXT during a time where the relevance of NXT has fallen a fair bit has cost him. The hype has worn off ever so slightly from Dallas, but hell, that's only to be expected because the hype was unreal. Please move to the main roster and fight Brock Lesnar, Mr. Nakamura. Please do that. Please do it for me. Number 3, #DIY. The Revival may slightly be the better cohesive team, but paint my balls if DIY aren't my absolute favorite tag act going right now. If you don't know who Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are, then hang your head in shame, my son. They're absolutely fantastic. They've been part of the 2 best tag matches in all of WWE this year against the Revival at TakeOvers Brooklyn 2 and Toronto, and if you haven't seen them yet, watch them. They're truly something else. Pause the video and do it. I will wait. Weren't they incredible? However, what puts the team of Gargano and Ciampa at the top of my list over, say, the Revival, who have wrestled more great tag matches this year, is the fact that not only are they superb together, they're brilliant solo wrestlers as well. You could make the case that their first round match against each other in the CWC was one of the best matches of the whole tournament, if not the year. If they continue this trajectory, 2017 will belong to Johnny Wrestling and the Psycho Killer. Number 2, Charlotte. Women's wrestling has been one of the big wrestling stories of 2016, from the triple threat at Mania to the first ever WWE pay-per-view headlined by a women's match with numerous Raw main events in there, and the best women's feud WWE's ever showcased, yes, even better than Trish and Lita. Some of these decisions have felt a little rushed, with some fans annoyed by the frequent Raw title changes, and the Hell in a Cell stipulation did come a little bit out of nowhere, but regardless, women's wrestling is a huge deal right now, and the queen of that division is Charlotte. A lot of people prefer Sasha Banks because she bumps like a lunatic, but I think Miss Flair is better, so fight me. She's a fantastic wrestler, a brilliant in-ring showman, and while she's occasionally a bit silly on the mic, I don't need you anymore. In my correct opinion, she's the pure best heel on the roster right now. I mean, you just hate her. And number 1, AJ Styles. No one's had a better year than AJ Styles. Absolutely no. From his debut at the Royal Rumble, which was both completely predictable and still made everyone lose their fruit, to his current reign as WWE World Champion, the man has been untouchable in terms of turning out consistent excellence. The dude has been in 9 matches rated 4 stars or higher by Dave Meltzer. 9 this year. Every show he's been on, he's turned in one of the best performances of the night, and he's still in his prime. The fact that he's a world champion after making himself huge outside the WWE is a gigantic statement, and the phenomenal one is the main reason why people should be looking forward to the blue brand in 2017. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.